Hello, my dear students. Good morning and welcome to Shikara IS Academy. Yes, we are back with our current affairs daily news analysis. Yes, welcome to Shikara IS Academy, where we train you for the daily news analysis, the current affairs, important news which is there in The Hindu, the Indian Express, Telangana Today, PIB, all the important topics related to your UPSC, State PCS, Telangana State PCS, Andhra Pradesh State PCS, we are going to cater that. Yes, and newspaper is your best friend, students. Yes, be it your prelims, mains or interview, newspaper is something you should always follow, because if you want to suffice your static with current affairs, the newspaper becomes your Bible. Yes, in the preparation of UPSC. Going ahead, let's see our first topic, which we have taken from The Hindu from page 8, student. The headlines is Recounting Velpur story in ending child labor. Yes, there is a mandal called Velpur, and it has given a very good example of how eliminating child labor in India. And we should also learn from this model, and we should incorporate this model. We should incorporate this model in rest of the country as well to eliminate child labor, so that children can get their childhood into studies and into growth. See, the children are the future of tomorrow. We all know that. But how we are going to shape them also matters. How we are shaping our children, how we are shaping our children, that also matters. Okay, children are future of tomorrow, but we need to shape children. How we are going to shape our children? By educating them, by giving them proper nutrition, right? So this article also talks about that. This is under your GS paper 1, students, Indian society and population and associated issues. So Indian society and population, if we talk about, society has different aspects. In one of that aspects, child labor and women labor, child labor, women trafficking also is dealing with those topics. So today we are going to see how this small mandal has proved its worth. And do you know that June 12th is observed as World Day Against Child Labor? Yes, June 12th is your World Day Against Child Labor. Yes, and when we are celebrating World's Day Against Child Labor, we must always respect that children are there for studies and children should be there for the future development, rather than working for mere small salaries under any dhaba or any institution or for bonded labor. So India still has 43.53 lakh children according to Census 2011 involved in child labor. See, this is such a number, 45.53. Yes, 45.53 lakh children still now are under the problem of child labor. We need to resolve this. Until unless we resolve this, the future generation which is going to come in India is again there will be problem in the sustainability and again in the crime rates, because uneducated youth are a liability to the society. Yes, uneducated youth are the liability, and here the child labor laws become so important that this 45 lakh children need to be educated nicely, or else it will create a burden. And there have been a lot of cases of poverty and dropouts also, my dear students, because of which we see such kind of scenario. And this Velpur mandala is in Telangana. Yes, it is in Telangana, and in Telangana mandal we have seen that it becomes child labor free mandal in 2001 itself. Yes, in 2001 itself we have seen that this mandal has become child labor free. This is a very perfect example, and they also take the children for 100 days of schooling between 5 to 14 age. Okay, not only they have got relief with the child labor, but they also go to schools, and this is a very perfect example which India can learn from it. The next article we are talking about, we have taken from The Hindu. You can see it in page 14, students. And we have, the topic speaks about India unlikely to ratify High Seas Treaty at UN Ocean Conference. Yes, unlikely to ratify High Seas Treaty. You might be thinking India is always for the conservation of the environment, water, nature. But why India is not ratifying this? Although we have already signed this in 2024. But the reason here is, along with environment, along with conservation of environment, students, India also want development, right? We need development. So this topic is under your GS paper 2 and GS paper 3, students, international relations and environment. Okay. And India is saying that first we need our rights. We need our rights to explore the sea. Beyond we have our zone, okay, that is your exclusive economic zone, okay, exclusive economic zone. So beyond these exclusive economic zone, India needs right of fishing and also need right for deep sea mining. Yes, we need to mine resources, right? We were talking about critical minerals, we were talking about rare earth materials. So we need to mine those minerals also. So India wants equality here. India is saying, you give me the rights. Yes, you give me the rights to involve and do exploration beyond your economic zone, exclusive economic zone in the water, so that I can be benefited. I can be benefited by sharing marine genetic resources. Yes, India is trying to explore more marine genetic resources, and now India wants rights on that. So before doing that, before ratifying such high seas treaty, which is conserving these organisms, India wants the right to explore these diversity, these marine genetic diversity and resources, and also India wants to deep mine the resources from the waters. So that's why India is unlikely to ratify the biodiversity beyond national jurisdiction agreement, which is already signed in 2024. Okay, so what India has to do here, it has to conserve the biodiversity which is beyond its jurisdiction. Okay, there is an exclusive economic zone, there is a water zone, okay, almost 200 nautical miles. Till there, that is India's water. But beyond that, it is not India's water. And when it is not India's water, still India need to conserve that. Okay, still India need to conserve that, and biodiversity, which is beyond this 200 nautical miles exclusive economic zone, still India need to conserve that. So India is not happy with this decision, and India is unlikely to ratify the High Seas Treaty on UN Ocean conferences. Okay. Moving ahead, students, we can see that Indian Army contingent in Mongolia for Khaan quest. See, UPSC takes a lot of questions when it comes to these kind of organizations, small meetings, small organizations in which India is meeting with rest of the world. When India is meeting with rest of the world, what India is performing, what India is giving is again the matter of discussion over here. And what this topic talks about. So it is related to your GS paper 2, international relations, and GS paper 3, internal security. So this Khaan quest is again related to defense security capabilities when it comes to countering terrorism. Yes, countering terrorism in your country, you need defense. Okay, you need internal security, foolproof internal security, right? So for that, this Khaan quest is this. And previously when it started, it started in 2003, students. And when it started in 2003, it was between US and India. Yes, it was between Mongolia and US. It was between Mongolia and US at that time. But on lighter note, then it started the exercise, and dhire we came to know that the quest has again started. So previously it was between US and Mongolia, and then in 2006 it becomes multinational endeavor. in 2006, the rest of the countries also started taking part in Khaan Quest. So currently, if UPSC will ask you what is Khaan Quest and what are the countries taking place, so you will say that in 2003, although it was like bilateral kind of between US and Mongolia, but since 2020, 2006, it having as a multilateral endeavor between the countries, and now India is also actively taking participation. And this year it is happening from June 14 to 28 in Ulaanbaatar. Okay, it is happening in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. Again, Ulaanbaatar, where is Ulaanbaatar becomes very important for UPSC. And because many a times they will give you match the following. Yes, match the following. A to B, A to D. So here they will be writing Ulaanbaatar, where it is in Mongolia. Remember, Ulaanbaatar is in Mongolia. So here we have already taken one of the news places in news question, and we have also read about Khaan Quest 2024, and it is a multinational peacekeeping exercise. Okay, it is no more a bilateral exercise between US and Mongolia, but it is multinational, and from India 41 member this contingent is going, and we are also having women officers in that, showing equality, equal participation of women in our defense sector as well. Now let's talk about the next topic, which is your human oversight key to safe use of AI in healthcare, says experts. Okay, we need to use AI. AI is a boon, right? AI is a boon, but AI can also be an evil, a bane. How it can be? See, artificial intelligence is again not related to what human conscience can do. Okay, it is artificial intelligence. That's why it's not human. It's the robots. It's the machines thinking. And when the machines are thinking, sometimes the ethics and sometimes the equality can be taken a trawl at. Okay, and thus this topic we are relating it to GS paper 2, science and technology students. Science and technology questions becomes very important, and right away from The Hindu you will be getting it. And this article is also from The Hindu page 2. You can see yourself and make your notes after this discussion. So what this article is talking about, although there are a lot of benefits which we are getting from AI, but still there are crucial data which the artificial intelligence is not able to do. What are those? They are your algorithmic bias, data privacy risk. Okay, there are biasness happening. Yes, when they are selecting data, they are not able to figure out whether this job need to be given to a male or a female or a genuine candidate for that sake. So AI is sometimes not able to do that, and thus there is biasness, algorithmic biasness. Suppose somebody has come for an interview, okay, and they have a specific gender, so there will be a biasness towards one gender. We have already discussed this in our DNA analysis previously, that artificial intelligence robots have done this in previous years also, students. And apart from that, data privacy risk also becomes high. We involve all the data to the AI, if we give all the data to the artificial intelligence and then ask them to cater to the needs of the society. So there need to be some framework, there need to be some regulatory framework, as there is in US also, and there are a lot of failure cases also happening in US, students. Okay, failure of your AI system, failure mechanism. So when it can happen in US where the tech is so strong, then India need to be also working on this, because India itself is now on a vulnerable state of digital security. We have seen a lot of cyber threats happening in India in the recent times. Yes, so when we are being engulfed by the cyber crimes in India, we need to be very clear and we need to be very strict on the laws of artificial intelligence, because if the failure cases are there in the US, then who can save India? India itself can save India. The next topic talks about feared extinction valley, really. So it's talking about Eurasian otters. Yes, these Eurasian otters, my dear students, they have seen a comeback in Kashmir. Yes, previously we were thinking that the otters, Eurasian otters, have got extinct in Kashmir. Yes, because the number was declining drastically in Kashmir. So this article we have taken from the Hindu students at page 1. You can see it. It is that important that they have published in page 1, and it is related to GS paper 3 environment. Yes, GS paper 3 environment talks about how to conserve these biodiversity, these animals, okay, plant species. And again, UPSC's favorite question becomes when they ask about species. Yes, है ना? When they talk about species, be it your animal, birds, butterflies, plant species, animal species. So Eurasian otter is something which is not inhabited or indigenous to India, but still in Kashmir we find them. And over 20 to 25 years we have seen that Eurasian otter has been named as nearly threatened in IUCN Red List, and but in Kashmir we thought that it is extinct. But recently we have seen that they have re-emerged, and a lot of photographs we have got of Eurasian otter in Kashmir, spotting them and thus saying that we are back with Eurasian otters. See, one of the best use of Eurasian otter is that they are bioindicators. Yes, they are bioindicators. What are bioindicators, students? So whenever there is a degradation, whenever there is an imbalance in your environment, then thus these species will start dying. And when these species will start dying, you will get to know that when they are not able to survive, they are bioindicators. When they are not able to survive, humankind is going to be getting extinct in the near future, in the near decades of years. Okay, so bioindicators are telling you the disturbance in the imbalance in the environment. That's why they are very important for our environment. And you will also read this term in your environment static syllabus. So bio-otters, so this Eurasian otters are your bioindicators, and thus they are very important. And now we have seen them back in Kashmir Valley, although they were classified as near threatened by IUCN, but yet they are back. They are not extinct. Okay, the questions can be asked, are Eurasian otters extinct in India? So there can be multiple questions. The next topic is talking about fuel for green Viksit Bharat. Green energy. What is green energy? Something related to eco-friendly energy. Yes, which is catering to the needs of environment, which is not degrading the environment. That is your green Viksit Bharat we need. Okay, and this we have again taken from the Indian Express. In page 13 you can see the student, and this falls under your GS paper 3, Indian economy, infrastructure and energy. So in Indian economy, how better we are making the Indian infrastructure, that it is not only going towards development but also conserving the environment. Yes, we are trying, Indians, we are trying to become Viksit by 2047, and we are aiming to become net zero. Yes, what is net zero? That the carbon production in India will be becoming zero. Yes, by 2070. That is the target. We want to become net zero by your 2070 students. So by 2070 net zero, and by 2047 we want to become a Viksit Bharat. But ये सब होगा कैसे? How we are going to channelize this? This will be done by using green energy. Okay, energy which is not emitting carbon dioxide. And there comes your nuclear energy, students. There comes your nuclear energy. And what nuclear energy gives you? It gives you the form of energy which are sustainable for the environment and without any emissions, very little emissions. So India is saying that, the author is saying that we need to explore our indigenous uranium and thorium technologies. Yes, we need to do the minings, we need to enhance the technology of India when it comes to uranium and thorium technology. Okay, and we need to stress on levering high assay low enriched uranium and faster breeder reactors to boost energy security. So make in India is something what the author is saying. Make in India, made in India. Okay, so if we are targeting for Make in India, then we need to be very clear that our resources of uranium and thorium are very nicely utilized, and then they cater to the needs of nuclear energy, which is eco-friendly energy. Understood? So going forward, we will be talking about the next, which is your why the census 2027 is critical for India's economic growth and development. Yes, why the census is important. See, earlier we were talking about in the DNA, we have said that right from Kautilya's Arthashastra, Akbar's time to Britishers in 1881, 1888, census has been there. So there might be some reason, right, why the governments every now and then, from history to ancient history to modern history to current times, are doing census. Today we have the correct census till 2011, and after that we have tried in 2021 as well, but because of COVID we cannot make it successful. Okay, and again in 2022 it did not happen because of delay, and now finally in 2027, students, in 2027 we are going to get our full-fledged census, caste census, telling the numbers of reserve list, telling the numbers of OBC, SC, STs, female, then fertility rate, okay, all these things, people, migrations, all these trends will be coming in front of you when we will be seeing the census of 2027, okay. So after a 16 years gap, we are going to have this in 2027, and how this is going to help us. See, the people migrating from one place to another, the people migrating from India to rest of the countries. Then what is the fertility trend in India? What kind of reservations we are going to give? The welfare schemes with which the government is coming, okay, the welfare schemes with which government is coming is the most liable thing, is the most thing which is at stake, because if welfare schemes are there, we need to know the exact numbers of the people belonging to certain category, belonging to certain caste, okay, so that reservation can be given, benefits can be given to the vulnerable sections of the society, right? That's why the caste census is very important, and there is no substitute for that. There is a lot of these days reports are coming, right? This report, that report, be it your international report or Indian report. But if you don't have the census data, which is the basic knowledge, then on what basis these reports are coming? Poverty, hunger. Niti Aayog is also publishing a lot of development reports. But the basis, the root cause, the pillar of that is the census. So if we need to get these reports right about the condition of India, the migrants, the fertility trends, and rest of the poverty, hunger, and the reservation of people, the development of people in vulnerable sections, then we need to know the basic knowledge, that is the correct census, the accurate census. That's what the author is saying, my dear students. Now let's talk about the next topic, which is talking about drone warfare in India. Yes, drone warfare is in India, and India has seen the benefits of drone warfare this time in Operation Sindoor, and also Ukraine has seen it. Although Ukraine does not have as powerful army as Russia, but still with the help of swarm drones, Ukraine was able to defeat some of the armies of Russia. And how it was possible? Because drones are something which are now becoming very important in the warfare in India. This we have taken from Indian Express, my dear students, from page 14, and this falls under your GS paper 3, internal security and science and tech. Yes, internal security, why? Because drones is again is working in your defense sector, and science and tech, we need to know the technology of these swarm drones. We need to start R&D process of these swarm drones, and we need to make them in India, so that we don't have to depend on foreign countries for the better use of drones, swarm drones, when it comes to warfare. Okay, so Operation Sindoor has taught us that drones have become very important, especially the swarm drones. Yes, the swarm drones have become very important, reshaping the modern military strategies in India. So we need to invest more on kinetic weapons, electronic warfare, and AI based detection system. So author is saying that we need to invest more on the high-tech energy, that is your kinetic weapons, electronic warfare, and even AI-based detection system, right? So if once we start investing in all these things, then our defense system is something becomes self-reliant, made in India, R&D also done in India, then we can surely whole and soul depend on these machineries for our defense purposes, right? So drone warfare is evolving and a critical component of national defense strategy currently. So that was the last topic, my dear students. Hope everything is clear. So go back, read these articles nicely and make your 2 to 3 lines notes of it. GS paper 1, 2, 3, 4, Telangana group 1, group 2 examination. Start making your notes, students. So once you are done with the analysis which we give you, you can just go and make the notes in another half an hour and then you're done. Yes, you're done with the current affairs and then you can focus on your NCRTs, on your statics, on your previous year questions practice and your classes which you are taking for your foundation batches. Okay, so that's all for now. Stay tuned with us, students. We will again meet tomorrow and we will be seeing what are the current affairs and important news.